Hi, my name is Lisa Ward, and I am running for office in Alabama. Many times we fail to realize how critical exercising our voting rights are. We often see in our climate things that make us feel like our vote doesn't matter or even count. And I'm here to debunk that myth and tell you countless times a race was too close to call, and it could have been vote that you had that could have made the difference. State laws change, and while we aren't paying attention, often they affect our voting rights. For example, there's a law in place that basically says if you don't use it, you lose it. But what does that mean? It means if you do not exercise your right to vote in two consecutive federal elections, the Secretary of State has the right to purge you from the eligible voter registration database. Now, for that reason alone, we don't want this to happen. Voting is a responsibility we have to show interest in sustaining our freedoms for democracy in this country. And the moment that we stop caring about those fundamental rights, authoritarian government can slide in, and our vote and our voice is gone. Each generation owes this pay it forward effort to protect what others before us have provided us, and it is our responsibility to do the same for those after us. So I want to spend a few minutes explaining to you something that many might not have attempted to do before. I want you to understand how important all elections are, how critical knowing individual candidates are, forgetting about a straight ticket vote and taking the time to hand select each candidate that has put themselves out there for public service. Let's give them some dignity. They deserve our effort to look at their name on that ballot and be counted. That happens when you color in their dot on election day. This is one way to prevent voter fraud and hindering anyone tempted to split your ticket by coloring in a circle that you might have overlooked. Let me give you an example of why all elections are vital, especially midterm elections. That is when people aren't paying attention, but there are no electoral college votes interfering with our choices. It truly is one voice, one vote. We need to take advantage of that. And when you don't vote, you decrease the number of voters that are counted, and polling locations are reduced because of it. There is no need for them if no voters show up to vote at them. And one more thing, just as an example of why your votes do count. In our climate today, for example, folks aren't happy with a lot of police officers and the job that they do. I hope you realize the sheriff you elect hires and determines the officers in your neighborhood, so that can be prevented by making sure that you know the leader of that department is worthy of our votes. So let's get started. I want you to understand what elected officials are responsible for and how their role affects your life. Shall we? Let's talk about the Alabama Commissioner of Agricultures and Industries. This office is a state executive position in the Alabama government, one of my favorites. The commissioner oversees the State Department of Agriculture, which promotes and regulates agricultural and industrial activity in the state. He or she oversees and promotes economic and industrial development in Alabama. They investigate and ascertain the state's industrial possibilities, and they collect statistics on state industry. You know, Alabama law directs the commissioner to take a special interest in the promotion of industries in the smaller municipalities and rural communities of the state. The Department of Agriculture and Industries establishes and enforces food safety regulations. They enforce laws related to commercial weights and measures and monitoring pesticide usage in the state. And it also regulates the treatment of livestock and poultry by farmers, agricultural pest control. It provides marketing and outreach services to boost agricultural production, and it mediates between Alabama farmers, their creditors, and the U.S. Department of Agriculture. It's an amazing position that we all need to pay attention to.